In this video, the shocking truth about meditation. What I learned meditating for 14 days straight. This is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com. This is gonna blow your mind, and let's dive right into this video. All right, so the very first shocking truth that I discovered while I was meditating for 14 days straight, 10 plus hours a day at a monastery in Thailand is that your consciousness creates reality. When you're sitting there in meditation, you become hyper aware. Especially for me when I was meditating in a monastery, 10 plus hours a day, the gong for the whole center or monastery goes off at 3-4 a.m. in the morning, and you're meditating all day. You can take 30-40 minute break where you're eating or whatever, two meals a day, one at 4 or 5 a.m. and one at 2 p.m. And other than that, you're not allowed to have a phone. You have to give all your stuff to the front office, so there's no distractions. It's impossible to have a distraction because you're not allowed to talk either. What I quickly realized while I had to sit there for so long, especially my first 3 or 4 days, which were excruciating. Hip hurt, knee hurt, want to go home. Why the hell am I here? What am I doing? This is so hard. You realize very quickly your consciousness creates reality. The whole point of meditation is to have takeaways that you can apply into life when you leave meditation. Now, those things are very, 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 very clear. Your consciousness creates reality. So comment down below, consciousness creates reality, or comment down below, attention creates reality. Comment that down below, attention creates reality. What is consciousness really? So everything is energy. This is energy, my body is just energy. That's all it is. And the couch I'm sitting on is energy. I'm in my living room, kitchen, that's energy. My whole home is energy. And money is energy, cars are energy, houses are energy, people are energy, everything is energy. Now, you've been given a mind and you can direct energy with your mind. That direction of energy with your mind is called consciousness. I could express my consciousness to focus on the fact that money is not in my life, or I could express my consciousness to focus on abundance. I could express my consciousness to focus on the fact that I'm unlovable and I'm always going to be alone and there's no good women left. Do the same with men. There's no good guys left. I don't know, what am I going to do? That's an expression of consciousness. So when I was sitting in meditation doing absolutely nothing for an incredibly long amount of time, what I realized was that consciousness creates reality instantaneously. Actually, we just generally don't notice it because there's so many distractions and stimulations going on in our life. But when I was sitting there, I realized very quickly and very fast that consciousness creates everything, because I could sit there without a single distraction and I'm meditating, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about, man, I wish I was home and I'd love to see my family. And I've been traveling around the world for 6 months at this point, and I was 20, so it was a lot. So I'm thinking, I want to go home, and why am I here? My knee hurts, my back hurts, and I have 13 more days of this. I'm hungry. I don't want to eat rice for every meal. I'm not hungry for breakfast at 4 a.m. My second meal's only at 2 p.m. Oh my gosh, this is hard. So it's an instantaneous creation of reality, because what your consciousness does, your consciousness stimulates nerves and brain cells. And that's what fires chemicals in your brain. It moves through your nervous system. So instantaneously, I'm like, my knee hurts, my neck hurts, I want to go home. Instantaneously, I have a physiological reaction. I'm experiencing suffering that I created for myself with my own consciousness. It wasn't until about the 5th day of just absolutely hating being there. It was, it's very hard to meditate for, from 4 a.m. until you go to bed at night, pretty much. And so I quickly realized, or maybe not quickly, it took 4 or 5 days or so, that I wasn't going to leave. I wasn't going to quit. And so I had a meditation where I was sick of suffering, and I said, I'm going to sit here for as many hours as I need to until something changes in my experience. And it took 3-4 hours where I sat there and meditated for 3 or 4 hours straight. It didn't get up, didn't walk around, didn't open my eyes. And I eventually hit this threshold where I finally surrendered. I surrendered attaching to my mind. In Eastern philosophy, it's called the monkey mind. Think about how the monkey mind works in everyday life. You're sitting in traffic and you're going, dude, I do not want to be here. Or you're sitting in you're going around, you're about to buy something and you're like, oh my God, this is so expensive, I'm broke. And we go through and then we have all these negative thoughts and then we react to them. I finally surrendered, and what I mean by that is I quit attaching to those thought patterns. And when I quit attaching to those thought patterns, which I'll share in another video, I had a total outer body experience. I legitimately left my body, and Rumi has a quote. He's a famous Sufi poet, and he says, beyond right and wrong, there is a field. I will meet you there. So you're not a body. And if everything is energy, there's a field of intelligence that's beyond the third dimension. Beyond, what is third dimension? It's just a little amount of energy that you can see. It's called visible light. Visible light is like the smallest amount of energy possible. It's like saying that what you can see is ultimate reality. What I can see and feel is ultimate reality. That's what exists. That's like saying I am my fingernail. I am fingernail. That's like, this is 1/1,000,000th of who I am. It's a little fingernail. That's all it is. Visible light is like a little fingernail in the entirety of the universe. You're not a body, right? You use a body, but you are not a body. You are a spiritual being in a physical body. Comment that down below. I am a spiritual being in a physical body. I am a spiritual being in a physical body. So I had an outer body experience, and I connected to a higher level of consciousness, and I felt just this overwhelming sense of bliss and peace and all of these incredible things. And ultimately came back into my body and opened my eyes. All of a sudden, all the pain in my knee was gone. The pain in my neck was gone. There was nowhere I was trying to get anymore. And I had a total transformation of my consciousness. And I want to share with you how you can utilize, without going to a Buddhist monastery or meditating all day, every day, how you can apply these principles from meditation, not to sit there and just meditate, but use them to create the reality that you want. Step number 1, if your thought is not a loving, positive, optimistic, abundant thought, don't attach to it. Now, it's easier said than done, but you have a free will choice to attach to any thoughts that you want to. Now, if someone was sitting next to me that was super negative and they were talking to me, I could decide whether I listened to them or not. It's easier to not attach to thoughts if it's coming from outside of you. Like, if a record player was playing, saying negative things, I could be like, that's not me, that's a record player. I'm not going to listen to that. But when it comes within your own head, you generally think you are your thoughts. But psychologists say 95% of your life is subconscious. Sub means below. So below conscious is what the subconscious means, meaning you aren't aware that it's happening. And the thoughts come in and then we attach to them. And the thought says, and by the way, psychologists say 70% of all subconscious programming is negative and redundant until it's reprogrammed. That's why I created the second mind. I invented a technology that's designed to reprogram your brain and your subconscious mind using neuroplasticity, the latest advances in neuroscience, to retrain your brain. It's free to demo. It's right there down below. It's thesecondmind.com right there down below. That's thesecondmind.com. So if you scroll right now to the comments, it's pinned to the top of the comments. You'll see it, thesecondmind.com. It's free to demo, and it's going to retrain your brain so that not only do you learn to not attach to old negative thought patterns, but you don't have them anymore because your brain has been retrained. So it's thesecondmind.com right there down below. So what I'm saying is that you have a choice whether to attach to thoughts. It's not thoughts themselves that cause trouble, negative thoughts themselves that cause trouble. It's discerning or gaining awareness of which thoughts are your true identity and which ones are a false self. Because there's two selves, that's why I call it the first mind and the second mind. So there's two selves in there. One is the one that's been programmed by society, and it's like, I'm not good enough to make money. I'm not smart enough. If I go ask that person out, they're probably going to say no. And, what's the worst that could happen? And it just goes through all these things. And then we attach to them. And then we have the physiological sensations of it. And we worry about them so much that our vibration starts getting locked into a low vibration. And then we attract things that match that low vibration to us. That's how consciousness creates reality. Some people call it the law of attraction, right? But everything is consciousness, and everything has a frequency or a vibration. As you attach to those thought patterns more and more and more, it starts to put your vibration into a negative holding pattern. And that's what happened to me when I was in the meditation at the monastery. My vibration got into a negative holding pattern. It was so much suffering. My body hurt so much from meditating for so long. You're not allowed to talk to anyone, not allowed to do all these things, that eventually what happened was I was crying. It sucked. It was awful. It was very awful. I put myself in that place. It wasn't the circumstances that put me into that. It was my attachment to my thoughts, to my negative thoughts, that put me into a vibrational holding pattern, and I kept staying in that resonant field of suffering. Now, the coolest thing is we're always in resonant fields of certain reality. You can be in a resonant field of good luck. You can be in a resonant field of attracting money. You can be in a resonant field of abundance, opportunity, or I can't attract the right people. I can't attract success. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then you see, look, it keeps happening to me. That's because the resonant field. What I'm inviting you to do is when the thoughts arise within you, really look at them. And that's what meditation can give you, but you can do it in normal awareness too, is really look at them and say, is this me? So you're a soul in a physical body. You're an individualization of God energy, of the higher power that created everything. What is the essence of this higher power? It's totally loving. It's totally abundant. It's absolutely infinite. This universe is always expanding. Stars are always growing. New galaxies are always being formed. It's perfect. Think about the fact that all the planets orbit perfectly around the solar system, the fact that your heart beats itself, like all these things, they're perfect. But you're an extension of that. So your spiritual DNA is perfection. You're perfect just the way you are. Comment that down below. I am perfect just the way I am. Comment that down below. I am perfect just the way I am. Comment it down below. I'm perfect just the way I am. So your spiritual DNA is perfect. It's for constant expansion, meaning you're meant to be rich. You're meant to constantly attract better and better people. You're meant to have financial freedom. You're meant to every year, obviously there's challenges that arise to teach us certain lessons, but it's meant to get better and better. Life's meant to get better and better. These are all the things that are your birthright, and they're part of your destiny. Not only that, but they're part of your true essence of who you are as a soul. Because your soul embodies all of these qualities. But then what happens is over time, the mind has been programmed by a society of other people, and pretty soon we build a sense of identity, an ego, and a subconscious mind that's been programmed by other people. Psychologists say it's 70% negative and redundant. And we think all the thoughts in our head are us, so we start attaching to those thoughts. And then all of a sudden, we start blocking all of our true spiritual qualities, our true spiritual nature, our true spiritual DNA, and all the things that are really a part of your destiny. Financial freedom, options, choices, love, healthy, happy, harmonious relationships, fulfilling day-to-day life, feeling fantastic in your body, healthy, happy. All these things just kind of get vanished because then we attach to the old thought patterns. And consciousness creates reality. And so wherever your attention goes, the old adage, where your attention goes, energy flows. Well, where your attention goes, energy literally flows, in that energy is called consciousness. And that consciousness creates reality because everything is energy. So you're projecting consciousness at every second. You're projecting consciousness that creates your tangible reality. So what I invite you to do is to start becoming aware of attachment to negative thought patterns. They may seem realistic or rational because you've had them for so long. or because they seem realistic because we're living from the physical senses. I'm broke, look at my bank account. The rich people are controlling all the money. I'm not smart enough to attract it. Look, I didn't do good in school, I didn't go to college, I was always bad on my SATs, I have this problem, I'm too old, I'm too young, I have this problem. And then we attach to our senses about love. Well, there's no good guys, there's no good women, my last 7 relationships haven't worked out, I'm just stuck like this. Because we're living from an ordinary level of consciousness. Ordinary meaning we're predicting our future based off of what we can see. Which is like saying, hi, I'm fingernail. This is the smallest amount of who I am. What you see with your eyes is the smallest amount of available energy. You can't even look in the mirror and say, this is who I am, right? I can see myself because I'm on video, right? So if I pretend this is a mirror and I say, this is who Jake is. This isn't who I am. This is like a fingernail of who I am. I'm a soul. I'm a non-physical intelligence, divine consciousness that's not bound to the physical realm. That's totally infinite, eternal, endless. And if I start living from those spiritual qualities, I can make them manifest in the physical plane. So this meditation experience when I was out there, it taught me to not attach to those thought patterns. Now, I dropped out of college and I wanted to write a book and build this career that I presently have. I didn't think that I was good enough for it. I dropped out of college, so I didn't have a college degree, so I thought I wasn't intelligent because remember, you, all of us, me, are programmed by society. So I believe that programming. If I don't go to college, I can never be successful. Then, if I don't get good grades, I'm not smart. I never got good grades. I got, C's, some B's, and, some D's that at the very last second, before the semester end, I turned them into C minuses, right? I didn't do good on my SATs. I was a first team All San Diego basketball player. I was a very good basketball player. So I got into college to play basketball before I dropped out. I wouldn't have got into college. And if I did, I wouldn't have got into a good school at all if it wasn't for basketball. I had all of these things. I'm not smart. Look, I have real evidence that I'm not smart, right? And I thought I had ADD and ADHD because I was diagnosed with it and I was prescribed Adderall in high school because I couldn't concentrate, couldn't focus. I was a troublemaker in class. So that was my identity. I had built and attached this entire thought pattern of I'm not very smart. I'm certainly not a good writer. That was my worst subject by far. I failed junior English class and I had to finish an independent study. So I thought this was who I was. And then I thought, if you have all those things, if you have all those problems, then you definitely cannot be successful. And then on top of that, I thought I was too young to be successful because all the people that were successful doing what I wanted to do, Wayne Dyer, Jack Canfield, all these people, they were way older than me. And then I looked at them all and they all had suits and they're all buttoned up proper and their hair was cut and it was combed and I thought, I don't look professional enough. So I had all these beliefs that I had attached to. But then when I got into that meditation, what happened was I quit attaching to those thought patterns. And when I quit attaching to those thought patterns, something incredible started to occur in my life. Guess what it was? I was free from that. And thus, I could live from where I wanted to live. And I started directing my consciousness that I was a world-renowned thought leader, inspiring millions of people and making millions of dollars. And I started living from that place. If I am soul, and soul is perfect, it's for constant expansion, it's infinite in nature, then my whole life can constantly grow. And what ended up happening was I went from self-publishing my first book because no one would publish and no one thought it would be successful, to publishing numerous books with the world's #1 publisher, Penguin Random House, New York, proper publisher, me, this guy that thought I wasn't good enough, smart enough, blah, 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 all that stuff I just said, with the #1 New York publisher in the world, giving a TEDx talk, then my videos going viral, building a multi-million-dollar business that has a lot of employees that work. Technically, they work for me. I don't look at it like that. I look at them like they're all my partners and we work with one another for a desired of goals and objective. And then they said that none of that would happen. You're supposed to get a business degree, you're supposed to do all those things, and I didn't have any of that. What happened was I quit attaching to all the negative fear-based thought patterns that I always thought were me. They weren't me, they were just happening in my head. And I started attaching to my true spiritual nature. And because consciousness creates reality, and where your attention goes, your energy flows, and thus the energy flows back to you that matches that, I started attracting tremendous success. I attracted my soulmate. All these things happened. But all the great outside things that have occurred in my life are secondary to finding out my true identity, because that's the ultimate peace. Now, if I could do that, think about what you could do. Think about what you could really accomplish and create in your life, knowing that your soul, you and I are one. We have the same, we're both, our spiritual nature, our true nature, and our destiny is constant expansion, infinite growth, unlimited success, happiness, love, surrounded by great people. We're meant to succeed. Just like when you plant an orange seed in the ground, it's meant to fruit. Just like, and similarly, when you have a desire, it's meant to bear fruit. My desire was to do this. Well, it was meant to bear fruit, inspiring millions of people, being deeply fulfilled with it, having tremendous career success with it, building a business that employs a lot of people. I was meant to have that. I didn't think so at the time, but then this meditation taught me that I wasn't those thoughts that didn't think it was possible. I wasn't those thoughts. They were other people's thoughts programmed into me. They went off in my head, and I believed them for so long, and because consciousness creates reality, that was my experience. So comment down below, energy creates reality. Comment that down below, energy creates reality. So, in conclusion, here's what I'm inviting you to consider. Your consciousness creates reality. Who you are is perfect, divine. You're meant to have fulfilling, awesome relationships. You're meant to have the financial success that you desire. Not just to have paper sitting around. That's totally useless. It's to have the things you want, to have options, to have freedom, to live the life on your own terms. You're meant to influence the world in a positive way if that's what you want. You're meant to be happy, healthy, have a great relationship. That's all part of who you are. But in order to get there, you have to take some deep breaths. Meditation is a great tool for it because it will allow you to stop identifying with those thought patterns that are blocking your true nature, which is over here. Your true nature is over here. And then you're learning to start not attaching to those thoughts. They may still come. It's not the thoughts themselves that are the issue. It's our attachment to them. But now you know who you are. You're a divine, divine, divine being. So real quick in conclusion, here's what I'm inviting you to consider. Your consciousness creates reality. You can stop identifying with old negative fear-based thought patterns. Just because you have thoughts in your head doesn't mean they're you. If they're negative, fear-based, and inherently limiting, even if they seem rational and realistic, the only reason they seem rational and realistic is because they've happened for so long. And you're looking at the world from a purely third-dimensional lens. You're looking at yourself as if you're just your fingernail when you're so much more. You are powerful beyond measure. And what I'm inviting you to do is spend the rest of your life exploring, experimenting, and deciding that you're going to find out just how powerful you are. So comment down below, I am a divine being. Comment that down below. I am a divine being. If you haven't yet, please use my technology, the second mind. What it's going to do is get you out of that first mind, get you out of that limited mind and into your second mind. Your brain will get wired for you to live the life that you truly want. It's right there down below, thesecondmind.com. That's thesecondmind.com. It's right there down below, thesecondmind.com. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. The bell notification is what notifies you for new videos. So even if you're already subscribed, just double check you've actually hit the bell notification right over there on the side. You are not your past. You're not your limiting thoughts. You're not what other people have said about you. You are a spiritual being in a physical body, a divine being, where all of your true nature is perfect the way you are. It's meant to have abundance, love, happiness, freedom. You're meant to succeed at whatever it is you feel inspired by, or you feel desirous, or you feel called to. You're meant to succeed at it. Life is meant to flow in your favor. So comment down below, I am a spiritual being in a physical body. Comment that down below, I'm a spiritual being in a physical body. Comment that down below, I'm a spiritual being in a physical body. Hey, if you dig this video, please hit the like button and let me know down below. Different video, I don't talk about meditation that much, just kind of a recent kick. I always thought people would be less interested in it because it's not as exciting, I guess, maybe, or something, or I thought it was. So maybe that was one of my limiting beliefs. And so just recently I got inspired to do it. So hey, give this video a like if you dig it. Share it with someone. Maybe you got a friend, you guys can talk about this. You know, you don't need to go this journey alone. Find a friend, send this video to them, share it on your Facebook and say, hey, who thinks this is cool? Let's talk about it and grab coffee. Share it on your Twitter and do that, right? So yeah, I'm wishing you an amazing day. Right there down below is thesecondmind.com. Remember, right there down below, it's free to demo. Subscribe, bell notification, comment down below, I'm a spiritual being in a physical body. Your consciousness creates reality. Who you are is a totally divine being. You're not your past. You're not your limited fear-based thoughts. You're not what other people have said about you. And you're certainly not your present reality. Great things are headed your way. I can definitely feel it. Can you feel it too?